You've come a long way, baby. Can you believe it? Hey, this is Coach Mark. I want to welcome you back to the third and final step in the 3D Freedom Formula home study course. And I am just so proud of you that you've continued to stay committed to the transformation in your life, and finishing the home study course is the most important thing that you can do right now in your life. To finish, to actually start something and finish, is going to be a big accomplishment for you, as it is for me and everybody else that ever starts anything in life. To have that feeling of success and to cross the finish line in a book or a project or an information product like you're watching right now, I want to say, hey, you did the work, you're continuing to do the work, and you're going to be the one that benefits the most. Now, I'd like to share a story with you before we get into the third step of our 3D Freedom Formula: design a plan to win. And before we get into that step, there was a time when I built this incredible home. It was 4,000 square foot on the inside. There was another 1,000 square foot of patio covered on the outside. And I got with the builder and I designed the whole house. I designed the walkway leading up to the front door, and it had this circular walkway leading up to the front door. From the sidewalk, we had this little roundabout, and right in the center I put a little water fountain that used to bubble up. And I'd come home at the end of the day and walk up my walkway and see my little fountain, and I'd come through my gate, and I designed the front doors to be this artistic glass, not etched glass, but it was artistic glass. And I had this artist come and etch out this and design this pattern in the glass. And it was just fascinating to come through my front door, and I'd open up the front door, and I laid the marble floors in the house, and had big tall ceilings with soffit lighting and all kinds of molding and I mean, just incredible. The kitchen was all dark cherry wood and dark granite and the best appliances. And I designed this little corner breakfast nook with a marble, with a granite table and a marble wrap underneath the cushions where we sat. And outside, I designed the whole pool. The pool was the funnest part of the whole deal, because I had this 5-foot swim out where you've got this landing where you could put chairs, and you're actually sitting before the steps on this swim out, they call it, at the beginning of the pool. And then the steps went down, and it was like 7 foot wide. And you went down into the pool, and it didn't have a regular Diamond Bright, finish on the bottom. It had this what they called Pebble Tech, and it was like this little pebbly, finish that was brown. And so when you filled up the pool, it wasn't blue. It was like a lagoon style kind of pool. And off the corners of the pool, I designed these half circles so I could use the corners for planters. And they had these beautiful palm trees, these triple rubellinis coming out of the corners of the pool. And I didn't use chlorine in the pool. I actually designed it with a salt chlorinator, so it created this saltwater effect. And although it produced its own chlorine to kill the bacteria, the salt water was like coming out of the ocean. And we never dumped chlorine in the pool. There was salt that we added to the pool. And it was on a lake, and we had the corner piece of property, so there was no neighbor next to me. And I had this wide corner piece of the lake where we could fish and catch bass, and the kids, they'd be out there catching these big bass. And I remember Jonathan and I were fishing one day, and we caught these 2 bass. And he had caught one, and I put my pole down to help him reel in that one, bass, and another bass got caught on the pole that was laying on the ground, and he reeled in that one. And the point I'm trying to express here is that I designed that home to be exactly the way I wanted it to come out. I had a blueprint, I had a perfect design in place. And the builder took that design, he took that blueprint, and it manifested itself from the ground up. And I lived in this beautiful home for 10 years in Wellington, Florida. And it was the first home I had ever built. And I was really proud of that design. I went on to build 2 more 6,000 square foot homes, if you could believe it, for spec and for investment properties. And I designed both of those homes as well. Now, I want to tell you the tale of 2 companies. I want to share another story with you real quick and tell you about my first fruit company and my last fruit company. My very first fruit company, it's kind of neat. You know, I was working in the restaurant business. I was 20 years old, and my first day on the job as a waiter, I was working in this like nightclub that served dinner and then turned into a nightclub with a dance floor and music. And my first night there, I met the bartender, and our eyes locked, and we kind of fell in love, like love at first sight, if there's such a thing. And she was my first love, Bonnie, and her brother had a fruit company. And what did he do? He pulled me out of the restaurant, threw me on one of his produce trucks, and he taught me the produce business. I learned how to load the trucks. I learned how to go down to the market at 3 o'clock in the morning where we bought all our boxes of fruits and vegetables and make deliveries. And I learned how to invoice the customers and change an invoice. And Jesse used to tell me, hey man, if you go out and pick me up a new account, I'll throw you $50. I went out and tripled his business, and all he did was give me $50 for every account I picked up. But it was fun, man. I learned the produce business. I learned how to go out and solicit business. I learned how to run a business. I learned how to ship produce and be a distributor. And about a year later, Jesse and I were doing so much cocaine that I decided, he decided, hey man, it's time for you to get out of my life. I know you've been with me for 2 years, and I know that you and my sister aren't dating anymore, and you just got to go. Why don't you take a handful of those accounts you picked me up, use one of my trucks for a few months, and get out of my life, because I can't party the way you're partying. I'm wrecking my life. And of course I was wrecking my life too, but I started my first produce company. At that point, I called it 18 Carat Produce. Yeah, C-A-R-R-O-T, 18 Carat. And I went on to become a small business owner for the very first time with a real legitimate business. 2 problems. I had a drug habit, and I didn't have a business plan. Recipe for disaster, my friend. Within a year, I closed that company, and I'd open up another 1 or 2 companies in my 20s during my active addiction. But I couldn't keep those open for very long either. No business plan, no life plan. Opened and closed a few companies in my 20s. And then, when I got clean at 30 years old, I finally came to. My mind was sober enough, and I started another produce company that I would eventually go on to sell 10 years later, called The Fruit of the Spirit. And I sold that company to some local couple that bought it and went on to build it, and I was just blessed to have a business plan and a life plan in place at the time, and that company worked really, really well. It became one of the best companies I ever built. It became one of the best companies I ever sold, and life goes on. But the point is, I had a plan. I had a plan in place, not only for my business, but for my life as well. And without that plan, I don't think I could have ever become the success in life and the success in business that I became. I would have never been able to go on and build those multi-million-dollar homes that I built. It would have been impossible without a blueprint for success. Don't you love this quote? People don't fail, but plans don't fail, but people fail to plan. Let me say that again because I messed it up the first time. Plans don't fail, people fail to plan. So when you have a plan, you've got a recipe for success. The problem is that most people don't have a plan in any area of their life, mostly including their finances, no budget, their business, no business plan, no business blueprint, in their life, for their physical fitness, for their spiritual fitness, for their emotional fitness, for their marital fitness, for relationships, for anything. And many people are just blown around by the wind, by the urgency of the day, and they come home from work and they sit on their couch and they watch TV and they fall asleep. And we're not building that kind of life. We're leaving that kind of life behind today, and we're going to design a blueprint for success. We're going to design how to succeed and accomplish those things from the last DVD and the last step from all of those desires and wants that you have on your list. Okay, I love this quote also. A doctor, an author, a doctor who wrote this book, he says, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up somewhere else. Now, what about you? Have you ever gone on to Google Maps because you needed to go somewhere, you were traveling across the country or across the state, and you're going to visit somebody and you thought, maybe I better Google this address. You put in the destination, Google says, okay, where's your starting point? You put in your starting point. On my phone, I can click on, I can put in a location, in my car, and then it just picks up my current location and gives me the plan and the blueprint or the map to get to where I want to go right then and there from wherever it is that I am. So, this whole course, and especially this this third step on this DVD, it's all about taking you from where you are to where you want to go. Once again, we are going to bridge the gap between where you are today in your life and where you want to end up. And because you are deliberate and because you are intentional about where you want to go, guess what? You're going to get there. You're going to get there. You have a target to hit. Do you ever see an archer or a marksman with a target and you're watching him shoot target practice? He's bringing the bow back or his gun and he's hitting the target. Sometimes he's not hitting the target. Well, he's got a target to aim at and he should hit the target. And you and I in life, we should hit our targets too, as long as we have a target in place. Now, you've already learned in the past 2 steps that in order to create an extraordinary life, you have to have extraordinary beliefs. Okay, let me give you an example. In the last DVD, I talked about, hey, maybe you want to start your own restaurant. Well, there were these guys in this little college town that started a pizza place. And they wanted to go from good to great. And what did they do? They came up with this crazy idea to deliver fresh hot pizza within 30 minutes or less, guaranteed or it was going to be free. You remember who that was? Yeah, that was Domino's. They went from good to great because they had these extraordinary beliefs that they could do it different and better than they've ever done it before, and maybe have a whole entire industry shift its paradigm and beliefs surrounding pizza delivery. Now let's bring it back to our life and back down to earth, because that became a $1 billion company. And I'm not saying you can't become a $1 billion company, once you open up your pizza restaurant. But what I'm saying is, let's just say that you're a mom and you want to become a great mom, embracing your time that you spend with your children, engaged and involved in their activities and coaching their teams and, participating in their lives differently than you are right now. Your beliefs around you being this extraordinary mom, they must first be set in stone, that you absolutely believe that you have the capacity to be an extraordinary mom, and then you will become the extraordinary mom that you know you can be. So, we're going to go from good to great, and in order to do that, we've got to turn our shoulds into musts. Okay? Let me repeat that. In order to go from good to great, in order to raise our standard, our shoulds need to become musts. There's no longer, I should do this or I should do that. It becomes, I must do this and I must do that because these are my desires, these are my dreams, and this is what I want. So, in step 3, the final step in our 3D freedom formula, which we call design a plan to win, I want you to take out your workbook. And you should have that workbook in front of you. We're on step 3, exercise 1, and I'm going to teach you how to raise your standards, how to design a plan to win. First, as always, here's what I want you to do. I want you to close your eyes. Come on, you've been doing this with me for 2 DVDs already, and we got to do it one more time. You need to get into state. I want you to just flush out all the cares and concerns of your day, anything else that's going on around you. No distractions, phones off. You got water, you got coffee, you got a smoothie, you've got your workbook, your pen, You ready to rock and roll today on this third step? And we're going to get into state. I want you to take a deep breath, close your eyes, because if you're still looking at me, you're not doing the exercise, okay? And I want you to do the exercise. I want you to engage your life and follow. I want you to follow the rules, maybe for the first time ever, that you would comply to doing things the way they work. So, I know that if I get you in state, if you get into a state of mind where you can visualize having the best life ever, you will have the best life ever. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, blow it out, take another deep breath, blow it out. One more time, take a big deep breath, hold it in, there you go. Blow it out. Good. Good. Okay, now keep your eyes closed. Keep your eyes closed. I want you to see the list of desires and dreams that you have in your head. To be in great shape, maybe the best shape of your life. To be financially secure and sound. To repair relationships with your mother, your father, your siblings, your friends, your colleagues, your boss, your ex-partner. I want you to see those relationships reconciled. That you desire to reconcile. I want you to see your career in the greatest state possible. I want you to see yourself being more successful than you've ever been. If you're going to start a new business, I want you to see yourself working in that business right now. Just put yourself in that store, in that place where you're getting an award for being the entrepreneur of the year from Success Magazine. Whatever's on your list, whatever you desire, whatever you dream, the new car, the new house, the trip to Hawaii, whatever's on that list, I want you to see it. Can you see it? I want you to breathe it in. That's who you are right now. Okay? All right. I think we're in a good place to get started. Open your eyes. All right, here we go. There's 3 keys to raising your standards. Number 1, first key, it's in your workbook. Be honest with yourself. You and I, we've lied to ourselves for so many years about what we want, about what we're going to do, about what we're going to achieve. Guess what? We begin to believe those lies, and those lies are real for us. It's just fact that we're believing this lie. Well, the first key to raising your standard is just being honest with yourself about who you are now that you've redefined who you are, what you want, and creating a plan to win. And I want you to, don't get so far out there, I'm going to be a billionaire by next week. Well, unless your grandpa dies and leaves you all his whole fortune and that's already in the cards, you're probably not going to be a billionaire by next week. But perhaps by, 3 years from now, you create this startup company and you do become this incredibly successful entrepreneur, and you end up selling your company to Mark Zuckerberg for $3 billion. That could happen. But be real. Be honest. Okay? I want to set you up to win, and I want you to set you up to win as well. Number 2, the second key to raising your standards is you are going to take massive amounts of action. And as you take that action, you're going to be flexible to make minor adjustments along the way. See, a little tiny bit of action, a little tiny bit of results. Big action, big results. Remember the farmer? If he puts 1 seed in his 100 acres, he's going to end up with 1 tree. But if he plants the whole farm, eventually he's going to have thousands of trees bearing hundreds of thousands of oranges and grapefruits. So, massive action, be flexible, make adjustments along the way. Third key to raising your standards, being committed to your outcomes rather than to your stories. Let me explain. The old you, a few tapes ago, the old you, a few steps ago, you were committed to all the reasons why you couldn't, why you shouldn't, why you didn't, why it didn't, why they did, and why they did, and you blamed and you blamed and you blamed, and you were committed to this story of why you weren't living the life that you really wanted to live. So today, I want you to shift your commitment. And that commitment is to your outcome rather than to your old story of why not. You're committed to why and the outcome rather than why not and the story and the blame of all the reasons why you didn't do what you were supposed to do. Okay, so exercise 1. You need your list of wants. Okay, so those list of wants and desires and those dreams that you have written down and all the motivations as to why you want those things, I need you to get that list out from step 2, and you're going to start with taking one of those desires and you're going to put it into this new exercise. So let's say in your adventure column, you want to go skydiving, right? So you want to go skydiving, that's on your adventure list. And in this exercise, you're going to write that down. Skydiving. You're going to write down the action that you're going to take. So in the column where you describe a plan to win and to achieve that desire, you will describe what you need to do in order to go skydiving. So you're going to call 1 or 2 local companies that offer skydiving, and you're going to schedule an appointment to skydive. So why would you call 2 companies? Because maybe you want to price them out, maybe one's closer than the other. And then step 2, you're going to schedule an appointment to go skydive. And that's now you have a desire in the adventure column to skydive. Your steps are going to be to call 2 skydiving companies. And your next step is going to be to schedule your skydiving adventure. Now, in the next column, I want you to describe why you want to go skydiving. You've probably already done this in the previous exercise, so just write that in, the motivation as to why you're going skydiving in that column. Once again, remind yourself. I want you to remind yourself of why you're doing the things that you want to do. Because sometimes you may remind yourself, hey, I want to do this or I want to do that, and it may dawn on you, hey, you know what? I really don't want to do that. I have no reason to do that. Let's cross that off. And now instead of, ignoring that thing on your list and never getting to it and feeling bad about it, you just get rid of it. So remind yourself as to why you want to do that thing. You want to overcome fear. You want to learn how to have fun and excitement, doing something adventurous. You want to take that first step towards breaking out of your comfort zone. I was afraid to get up on a ladder. Yeah, true story. At 30 years old, I had a little house, my very first home in North Miami, Florida, and I wouldn't go up on the roof. Yeah, I was afraid to get up on a ladder. And so one day I just decided, that's it. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of being afraid to get up on a ladder. So I went up 10,000 feet with some friends in a plane, and we jumped out. And what happened? Did you think when I came home I was afraid to get up on a ladder to go up 20 feet on top of the roof? No way. No way. And now I can look off a balcony that could be 50 or 100 stories up, and I don't feel that anxiety. Skydiving just cured my fear of heights. So whatever the reason why you want to go skydiving, put it in and describe that in the column that I've provided. Now, in the deadline column, this is what you're going to do. You're going to write down a deadline to go skydiving. So example, you're going to make the reservation and that you're going to jump on or before December 21st. And so now in that column, you've got a deadline to go do that experience. And so you've got a plan. You've got a plan as to what the experience is, why you want to do that experience. You've got the necessary steps to take in order to go do that experience. You're aware of how much it's going to cost, how far you have to drive to go find that skydiving company, and you've got a date to hold you accountable to do that skydiving experience. Now there's another column, check this out. The next column, we call it the penalty box column, and that's where you'll write down the penalty if you do not accomplish skydiving by December 21st or whatever date that you wrote down in that column to go skydiving. So for example, if you don't do it, you're going to donate $100 to charity, or you're going to spend that Friday night and you're going to prepare a home-cooked meal for 10 homeless people in your neighborhood, and you're going to go out and you're going to feed those people, and that's going to be your Friday night. And maybe that's not such a punishment, but you're going to sacrifice and do something for somebody else, or give monetarily because you didn't spend that money doing the thing that you promised yourself you wanted to do. So that's the penalty box, and I want you to write in that penalty box your penalty for lying to yourself and not executing the plan you just made to go skydiving. Now, finally, there's a results column. Do you see the results column? And here's what happens with the results column. After you go skydiving, I want you to come back. I want you to recognize that you made a plan to go skydiving. You made a plan to overcome your fears. You decided you were going to call 2 companies and find out how expensive it was and how far you had to travel to go skydiving. You made a reservation to go to that one company and to go up in a plane and to jump out. You actually put a date down and you went before that date and you did your experience and you had the time of your life. And now when you come back, you notice that the penalty box there's a penalty in there, but you don't have to pay the price because you got the benefit and the reward of keeping your word and enjoying your experience and living out your dream. Now I want you to write the result of what happened when you went skydiving. How did you feel? What was the experience like? How do you feel now that you accomplished that thing? And this is going to be kind of like your benchmark to come back to and be able to relate to anytime maybe you're feeling down about your life, in years to come. You've got a benchmark to come back and go, wait a second. I made these incredible plans to do these incredible things and these outrageous experiences, and look at all the things I've accomplished. Why am I so down on myself right now? Look, I made a plan, I executed it, I had the greatest experiences of my life. What's bugging me? Let me get out of this funk. And you can use this journal as a benchmark to come back to inspire you. And you don't have to wait till you get bummed out one day. You could just come back to it every so often and just remind yourself and celebrate the victories that you're having along the way. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so let's stop the tape, and I want you to write down all of your desires, why you want to do those things, and give yourself a deadline. Put all the necessary steps in to accomplish that thing. Shut the tape, do exercise 1, and then come on back. Okay, welcome back. All right, you got everything down? Did you do your exercise? I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you, young lady. I am so Coach Mark, can't wait to meet you. I'm so jacked up that you're going to have the life of your dreams. I am so excited that you finally believe in you. Yeah, you finally believe in you, that your life is worthy of living, and your dreams are important, and those dreams should come true because you say so. Not because anybody else says anything, but because you say so. Now, listen. There are many reasons why we don't do the things that we say we're going to do, and there are many reasons why we don't get the things that we really want to get in life. And one of those main reasons is that we have these broken beliefs about why we can't have that thing we say we want to have. So, for instance, in your fitness column, in your fitness category, with all of your desires, you said you wanted to have optimum health, you want to lose 25 pounds. Now you have a broken belief about losing this weight because you've tried over and over and over and over and over, and you continue to lose a little bit and then go back and put it back on, or you never keep it off and you put it all back on, or maybe this is the heaviest you've ever been. So here's what happens. We tend to have this broken belief about the thing that we really want, and that broken belief, that story, is why we're not getting that thing. So for instance, I'm going to lose 25 pounds. And my broken belief is I can eat whatever I want, and I'm going to get jacked. Yeah, I can eat whatever I want. I'm just going to get in the gym, and work out hard and, do lots of cardio, and I can eat whatever I want. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to shut the tape. I want you to fill out all those columns. There's a results column we're going to leave for afterwards. So shut the tape, fill out all of those different columns, do exercise 1, and I'll see you when you get back. Hey, welcome back. Did you fill out your columns? Do you have your list of all your wants and desires listed with all the different steps of action, all the massive action you're going to take to accomplish those things? You've got your deadlines in place. You've got your penalties in place. Now here's something really cool. The results column is going to be so that when you have that experience, you're going to come back from that experience and you're going to write in that results column the incredible time and the outrageous experience that you just had skydiving. And you're going to do that for every single desire, want, dream that you've listed in your outline. And let me tell you why. But one of the most important parts of success is to celebrate that success, to celebrate the wins, to come back and acknowledge that I did something I said I was going to do, and to see it accomplished on paper. Wow, what a difference visually it makes to see that I set a goal, I took action, I had a deadline, I did it before the deadline, and this is my results, and this was the outcome of that whole experience. And in years and years to come, you'll be able to come back to these benchmarks and reference your victories and reference all the success that you had in this experience of going through this home study course, mapping out a plan to win and a plan to succeed, and designing that plan and fulfilling it. It's going to become one of the greatest accomplishments in your life to date. So make sure that after you have your experience, after you attain the goal and the dream is fulfilled, that you come back and you write in the results of that experience so that you can have it for years to come. You can share it with your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids, and you can leave it behind as a legacy that you were a man, that you were a woman of integrity, that you knew what you wanted. You deliberately and intentionally went out into the world and you built a life worth living. And you weren't blown around to and fro like a wave tossed about in the sea, but you were deliberate, and you had a plan, and you took a stand for the things that you wanted in your life, and you accomplished those things. And you'll have a reason to be proud and share those things with generations to come. Now, in exercise 2, you're going to need your wants list once again. There's many reasons why we don't actually get the things that we want to have in life. And that's because we have this broken belief about that thing that we want, and our behavior just lines up with the broken belief rather than the belief that we should be able to accomplish that dream or that goal in our life. So let me give you an example. In your fitness category of life, maybe you wrote down you want to lose 25 pounds and you want to have optimum health. And the reasons why: you're going to live longer, you're going to have greater energy, you're going to be more productive, you're going to feel better about yourself, you're going to look better. But you have a broken belief about losing weight, and that is that you could lose weight anytime. That's the broken belief. Or you can eat whatever you want and still get ripped. That's a broken belief. So for each one of your dreams, for each one of the desires that you've written down, there's a broken belief about that thing. Because in the past, you aren't able to accomplish that thing, and it's all because of what you're believing about that dream or goal or desire that you have. So, in this next exercise, exercise 2 in your workbook, I want you to write down the dream or the desire, and I want you to identify with the broken belief that you have about that thing. That's the belief that you have about losing weight, about becoming rich, about being successful, about falling in love, about traveling the world. Whatever's on your list, there's a reason why to this point in your life you haven't gotten those things and you haven't experienced those things that are on your list. And the reason is because the way that you think about that thing, it's messed up. And that's okay, because we're going to replace this broken thinking with right thinking. We're going to divorce the lie and you're going to marry the truth each and every day for the rest of your life. Now that you know, it's okay to divorce that stupid lie and marry the real truth. So, in this exercise, I want you to write down your dream or your desire and write down the broken belief around that desire. Shut the tape, and I'll see you when you get back. Welcome back. Good job. You did the work. Now, this next exercise, you're going to describe your desire in the column, and you're going to describe your new belief surrounding that desire. So this is going to be the reason why you get to have this dream come true. You get to accomplish losing the weight. You get to accomplish staying clean, not having to get clean again, staying sober, not having to get sober again, stopping the gambling, and being productive in another way to make money that blesses you and blesses others. All right? There's a new belief that we need to implement, that we need to use as our new strategy in order to accomplish this thing that you want to accomplish. So, in the last exercise, you wrote about the broken belief. In this exercise, now I want you to take each single desire on your list and write the new belief as to how you're going to accomplish this thing. Okay? So, I want to lose 25 pounds. I want to be healthy. My new belief, getting on a meal plan will help me to stay on track. Joining a gym will help me and motivate me and inspire me to continue to work out and be in a community where other people are working out and I can get some help. Okay, so I want you to shut the DVD. I want you to write down the new belief about this new desire. Ready? Go. Hey, great job. Once again, Coach Mark is proud of you. You're doing it. You're engaged. You're doing the work. You're digging deep. Listen, the deeper you dig, the more you find. Okay? You dig a little bit, you find a little bit. You dig deep down, and guess what? All of a sudden you strike oil, you strike gold, you hit it big, and the life and the greatness in you it'll just spring forth and begin to flow like never before. Well done. Well done, friend. I am so proud of you, and I think you should be proud of yourself at this point for working so hard to discover the things that you really want to have. Okay, so now, the next exercise in the workbook, next to the dream that you have and the new belief that you have, there's an enrichment column. Let me explain what this enrichment column is. In order to enrich the experience of losing weight, perhaps you can go out and buy a new pair of weightlifting gloves. Maybe you're a runner and you want to go out and buy a new pair of running shoes, or maybe you want to join a gym or a new gym. You want to go to a different gym to get away from those people that you don't like and find some new people that you can work out with and be friends with. So in this enrichment column, let's say that you want to stay clean. And now that you're clean, in the enrichment column, you're going to go to meetings. You are going to find an online community at nighttime that you can engage with. You're going to start to write a book about your testimony, about your story of how you used to use drugs and you don't use drugs anymore. So you're gonna take a writing class. You're gonna take a Brian Tracy How to Write a Book course for $495. I don't know. Whatever that thing is that you want to do, this enrichment column is to give you some ideas on how to enrich and enhance that experience of the change that you are in the midst of making. So I want you to go through your list, think about each item on your list, and in the enhancement column, I want you to write down 1 or 2, 3 things that can enhance your experience as you chase after and obtain these dreams of transforming your life. Okay, shut the video, and I'll see you when you get back. Okay, welcome back. Now, there's another column next to the enrichment column. It's called the types of actions column. And in this column, and during this exercise, what you're going to do is you're going to decide about the actions you're going to take to achieve this dream of saving $1,000 as an emergency fund. Okay? So are you going to take massive action like the next paycheck that I have of $600? I'm going to take 500 of it this week and I'm going to put it away into an emergency fund. That's massive action. I mean, if you get a check for 600 and you take 5 out of the 600 and put it into an emergency fund, and now half of your emergency fund is there, that's massive action. If you, let's say, take $25 and you begin your emergency fund with the next paycheck that you get for $600, that's a small little action. So you get to determine, do you take big, massive action steps or do you take smaller, bite-sized action steps? In any event, either action step is going to serve you and bring you one step closer to achieving that dream and to achieving that goal. So I want you to shut the tape. I want you to write down whether the action step is going to be massive or bite-sized, big or small. You can label it whatever you want. Just put the action step in there and put a circle around big, or put a circle around B for bite size, or O for outrageous action. Put a little circle around it and make your action steps either big or small. Write them down and then come on back. Okay, so now you've got a pretty good plan in place to win and to succeed and to accomplish these things that are on your list. Here's a big step in the whole process, and there's a column called the experts column. And now in the experts column, next to each one of your goals, next to each one of your desires, I want you to write down what kind of expert, what kind of coach, what kind of mentor, what kind of professional can you enlist, can you find, can you hire to accelerate this dream from coming true? So let's say with skydiving, you couldn't just go hire a pilot to take you up 10,000 feet and jump out of a plane yourself. I mean, you could, but it's not going to work out so well. So you'd want to go to a skydiving school and hire the skydiving expert to tandemly jump with you. So that means they're attached to you. And that's the way you start skydiving, is you do it tandem, you do it with the instructor, you're attached to the instructor, and you're learning how to jump and you're learning how to land safely. Jumping isn't the big part, it's the landing safely, that's the big part. So if you're looking at your fitness column, could you hire a fitness trainer? Could you hire a registered dietitian? Could you go online and find a site that could offer you custom-made meal plans? So I want you to enlist all the experts. Let's say you want to stay sober. Could you get a sponsor at AA if you're going to AA meetings? Could you hire a sober coach? Could you hire a life coach? Okay, so these are what I consider experts. If you want to go into business, do you hire a business coach? Do you hire an accountant, a budgeting consultant, a business planner? What kind of experts do you need to go into business? So in any area of your life, let's say you want to improve your marriage. Would you want to hire a marriage counselor? Would you want to go to a marriage retreat? And maybe there's a 3-day weekend where you and your wife or you and your husband could get away and go to a retreat and bring healing and restoration to your broken marriage. So what types of experts and what types of expert authorities or associations, mentors, coaches, clubs, facilities could you enlist in enhancing your experience to accelerate your dreams to come true? So shut the video, think about all the experts that you could hire. Let's say you had all the money in the world, you can hire whoever you want. Make your list. Remember, there's no limitations here, no scarcity. We're designing a plan from possibility of having everything that you want to have in life. So shut the video, make your list of experts that you need to accomplish these things, and I'll see you when you get back. Welcome back. Hey, listen, once again, great job doing the work. I've put some space in your workbook so that you can journal the wins that you're having along the way. I mean, you can journal each and every day, and you can write about the successes that you're having and the fun that you're having in life once again and all the victories that you're having. You know, I've got this little app that I downloaded on my iPhone called Winstreak. And Winstreak every day pops up and says, what are your wins today? And it reminds me to think about the victories that I'm having and the plans that are succeeding and manifesting, all the wonderful things that are happening in my life. And Winstreak is a really great little app that helps me to remember to celebrate those wins on a daily basis. I mean, on a daily basis, I have to remind myself, and I want to remind myself, that I'm doing good, that I'm making progress, that I'm headed towards the goal, that I'm living out my dream, that my life is worthy, that I'm worthy, that I'm worth it, and you're worth it. So, plenty of space in the workbook to journal on an ongoing basis. Winstreak, great little app. I have nothing to do with that company, but I'm just sharing with you how I use Winstreak to remind me to celebrate my victories in my life. Listen, it has been an absolute honor and a privilege as we come to the end of our home study course. As you have spent time and money investing in your future, as you've done incredible work to dig deep and uncover the answers to your life, to eliminate the fears of failure, to eliminate your past pain, to reconcile with the people that have hurt you in your life. I want to say that I am truly honored to have participated in this journey with you. I want to hear from you. I want to hear all the success that you're having. I want you to just communicate with me via email, Coach Mark, COACHMARC @elevate123.com. Shoot me an email. Tell me your story today. Share your wins with me. You can like us on Facebook. You can continue this journey with us and participate in our virtual group. You can set up a strategy session with me if you like, and we can talk about some one-on-one coaching and some one-on-one breakthrough that we can create if you ever get stuck or you want to just accelerate this whole plan and get on a path that just unleashes the greatness that is in you and does it in such a way that you have the confidence and certainty that you can go through life fulfilling your dreams and feeling the significance and the fulfillment from those accomplishments. I'm available. I'd love to partner with you. I'd love to participate even further in your life. And until we meet again, and I know that one day we'll meet soon in the near future, I want to encourage you to break free, to live free, and to be free forever. God bless.